Good day and good evening, and welcome back to Book Steps, I guess. A Realm Reborn Relic Grind and Talk with me, Caetsu Chaiji, but you can just call me Kai. So, last time, I can't remember if we actually finished the Monk Weapon book step, or if we were like on the cusp of it and I finished it off stream, but I did finish it. We are on the Novus step now, which is past the Alexandrite. So, new relic weapon on the book step, we are on the White Mage now. 5 remain. Eventually we'll be done. Eventually. Now on that note, hey Talma, hey Kaj, hey Lana, hey Jultones, hey Alice, hey Kubamana, hey Gazel, hey Tong, hey Ilya, and hey 50 Cal. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're all doing very well. Right, let's see then. Start with checking Kurthus. And yeah, if you're new to... Whoa, there's a lot here. If you are new... Oh, there it is. To these kinds of streams, I'm effectively just derping around doing these book steps. And then we just talk about whatever. So if there's something you would like to talk about, then this is a great time to do that. Whether it's you have a question about on how to do something with a job or something else, then they actually have time to respond to that without something getting in the way. Especially now that the attack rotation is very simple. Hey, Jet Monica! Hope you're doing well. Oh, will we ever manage? Use your Aero 3? Would you even have Aero 3 at this level? You know me. I just remember I have to dodge really early. Because latency. And we are once again on Ravana OCE. So if you want to hang out in game, you can do that too. Where are the other fates? King's Justice in Western Lanosia and Quartz Coupling in Eastern Thanalan. Alice says, in the essence of asking questions, I can't decide between playing Dancer or Machinist. Other jobs I like are Dark Knight, Reaper, and Scholar, if that helps. I will say... that... both Reaper and Dark Knight kind of roll with the same concepts as both Dancer and Machinist in each their own way. By which I mean... Machinist has this similarity with Dark Knight in that technically you don't have a damage buff of your own to like burst into, but you could use everyone else's. And Machinist kind of runs the double up burst with 2 hypercharges when you're trying to optimize, at least. That Reaper does with double Enshroud. So it kind of depends on what you're into. Machinist also runs the kind of like speedy burst. Dancer kind of does that too. So I'm not 100% sure where to, what to recommend. Because the jobs you like are sort of between that. I don't really know. I guess Scholar would lean more similar to, oh boy, to Dancer. Assassinator, hope you're doing well. We're working on the White Mage, a Realm Reborn relic. Specifically the step where you have to fill books. And that is effectively what we're going to be doing all stream, because it takes so long that it will take more than the whole stream to finish. Oh, that might be that one. Zay Kashanta and IndiePix. Oh, I didn't even see that it was there. Thank you. IndiePix says, I did the White Mage Relic, White Mage, a Realm Reborn Relic, then thinking the replica acquisition was like the other ones, I promptly discarded the relic. Oh no. I believe there is something about you can request on the support desk to get an item like given back to you, one-time item restoration. You could try that. But I will say for a Realm Reborn relics, you have to have the weapon in your possession for the NPC to offer you the replicas. Or if you have sacrificed the relic in the specific pursuit of getting a Heavensward relic that you've specifically handed it over, then the game will act like you always have it. So you have to get rid of it in that specific way, otherwise the game doesn't count it. But you could try that. And that's why we're here, Alice. Was there any mobs in this zone while we're here? We have this. Is that the only one? Western Lanosia? Oh man, imagine if they could just give us a list. It'd be insane. Welcome back, Taldabar. It'd be nice if you let me know. Yeah, right? Sometimes YouTube will let you know the next day. It's a once per account wish. Yes and no. Because sometimes the GMs will let you have another one if they're having a good day anyway. So you can't be sure. But I do get what you mean, that it feels like, I don't need that one. I think it's also partly because they don't want you to like request it on a whim because you're just being a derp. So by making it like that, and you know, they might not always do it anyway, no one will ever be like, oh, well, I can just throw the item away. If I need it again, I can just ask for the item remade. By specifically making it very strict like that, people won't rely on it and will only ask when it's like pretty big stuff, which I think is pretty reasonable. I would say it's also one of those things where if a whole Realm Reborn relic isn't important enough to get restored, then what is? That's a lot of hours. That's just down the drain, and you're like, well, okay, so I'm never getting that back. Nice. Is that everything in Lanosia? Not everything in Lanosia. That marble earring from Eureka? I mean, maybe. But would you throw that away? Yeah, let's just say, Nazinator, that part of the reason why the relics are a lot easier nowadays is because, like, the grind is just different. Imagine if you needed to do the relic grind of Dawntrail per weapon, every step per weapon. The reason why they don't do that now, I believe, is because in A Realm Reborn, where there was only 10 jobs, and also where they kind of needed to fill in stuff for you to do, admittedly, it wasn't a big deal that they gave you a huge amount of objectives to deal with, give you reason to do fates, give you reason to level crafters, give you reason to do all these things, because what else were you gonna do? The game was, you know, still pretty new. There wasn't that many optional things to do. Which fate was for Thanalan? Quartz coupling in Eastern Thanalan. But if they asked you to do the A Realm Reborn stuff 21 times. 21 times book step. Just that, of this book step, is a little much, in my opinion. And it, like, that now you're pushing it. So I think that's why they don't do that anymore. Instead, they put a slightly chunkier single objective. Yet you have to do once, and then every repeat is very easy. Dualtone says, I want to do the AR relics, but I don't have the strength. Well, you just have to have the patience. I believe in you. I'll also say that the Heavensward relics are more about collecting currencies. A major part of Heavensward relics is that, as we I kind of went over this in a guide a while back on Poetics, that each Heavensward relic, there are things you can do instead to, like, reduce the costs. But if you choose to buy everything that can be bought with Poetics, then you need, like, north of 20,000 Poetics for one relic. Just one. Which is a bit much. For comparison, now that they're no longer current, you need, I think, 6,000 Poetics to complete, like, fully finish and complete an Endwalker relic. You of course have to do the Hildebrand stuff, but that's all you have to do for repeats. Just 6,000. Meanwhile, Heavensward asks you to do stuff and also 20,000 Poetics. Yeah, exactly, Nazinator. That is also why I've, like, mentioned a few times that I have so many of these currency things that I'm, like, in total missing something around 15,000 Poetics for everything regarding A Realm Reborn and Heavensward relics. Hey, Seraph and Burncastle. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, the most annoying part about the A Realm Reborn relics is 100% the book step. Absolutely. That is the one that adds all that extra work. As we did test in a speed run a while back, it took me, with all of the currencies and everything already in hand, the stream took like 9 hours or something. I always don't remember the exact number. I think Nox has it on hand. And like 6.5 or 7 hours of that was just bookstep. Are you doing it because a relic looks cool for glam, or is it a completionist thing? Considering that I'm doing every relic all at once, It is mostly just a completionist thing. I do like the relics, and I have gone on to use some of the Realm Reborn relics specifically because they look awesome. But I haven't actually bothered to look at what they look like before I actually have them in hand. I was like, Sean, hope you're doing well. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you so much. And welcome to the game. I hope you're having fun. But I'm just like collecting them so that it's done. I don't know what I'll do once I have all the Realm Reborn and Heavensward relics, because don't really feel like derping around in Eureka to get all of the Eureka relics. And those are that's the only relics missing aside from like the final step of the Dawntrail relics now. Of which I still need some. Is there any items you could think of investing in for when I'm playing the paid version? You could buy... Sean, you could buy... I don't know if you can buy glamour prisms anywhere. If you can get those, probably a good idea. It's these things. Dang it. These things. And glamour dispellers as well. These two. You could buy dye. There are like basic ones that I think you can buy for Gil that you can use for like a whole selection of things. And, you know, you could just have a stack of 999 of them. I was like, Exodi. Another one you could buy is if you can find a vendor that sells grade 8 dark matter. That's like repair materials needed at like that people use at max level. Might not be necessary to buy that, but that could be something that, like, it's not wasted money. There might also be people in the chat that have better suggestions. What can a free trial player invest their gil in to avoid hanging out at gil cap while still buying something that is valuable once they have the paid version? After Northhorn, Eureka Hangout. I feel like Northhorn will be a while. I think there might also be a little bit of a skip in Northhorn once Beastmaster comes out. We need to give that some time too, right? That's gonna be fun. Axel says Thavnarian onions. How would someone buy Thavnarian onions, Axel? How would someone buy that for Gil? Knowing that you can't access the market board when you're on the free trial. No worries. This is like a really funny one. That would be a really nice one to invest in. Absolutely. If you could just buy stuff off the market board, just, you know, buy random stuff you need. Totally. I'm not sure, Naomi, but for now, we're at least just hanging out. Uh-oh. I didn't mean to do that. No! Go away! No, don't paralyze me! Bruh. Bruh, the lag. I got paralyzed ticked when it was already gone. Yeah, that's correct, Sean. The reason is that you can grow them, but you can't grow them if you don't have like a subscription because you need a house for that. And alternatively, you could buy them. Just kill the A rank for some easy seals. Yeah, but I don't need them. Hey, Crusher and Endersack Boy, hope you're doing well. And Ravenous, hope you're doing well as well. If I recall correctly, quartz coupling is like there. I'll probably do like let me put it like this, Indie Pix. If I finish the grind before Evercold, I might take a break from it until Evercold releases. Then I have to, you know, re-unlock it. And then I think that I will do at least one for every job. Exactly. If you just need a few suggestions, Sean, dyes and prisms, if you can get them, and dispellers are things that are always useful. And admittedly, if you find that you don't care or you don't need them, other people will buy them off you. Exodi says, I think there's a thing where a player with a house can let a free trial player use their garden plot to grow them. Are you sure that you can give a free trial player access like that? Say Asymmetricon! Also, what Asymmetricon said, if you're sitting at guild cap and you just need something, buying any item that says that it has a shops, a sells for X amount of gil, just stated anywhere, then you can, like if an item costs, let's say, 10 gil, but it sells back for 1, then it's still better to buy that than sit at guild cap, because sitting at guild cap means that you're getting 0, but if you have that item, you've turned, you know, 10 gil now into 1 gil later. There are probably better items to do that with, like maybe something that costs 2 and sells for 1. Just have a whole stack of that. Preferably because of how, like, stack sizes. There might be, like, cases where you might, like prefer having the bigger, like, the more money for the inventory slot at the cost of it being less efficiently converted. Crusher says, just so you know, I'm late today because I fed the cats. Ow. Darn it. You have to change the routine so that you can somehow both make it to stream and also feed the cats. I'll say classified. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, true, Mia. That is also something that I talk about just in general, whether you're a free trial player or not. That if you're storing an item because you might need it later, sometimes you might have to ask yourself how valuable that inventory slot is for you. Because, like, let's say you have an item in your inventory that is, like, used for crafting. But the market value of that item is, I don't know, 10 gil. Or even 100 gil. And you have, like, 50 of them. 5,000 gil. That price might change. It also might not. If it becomes cheaper, then you having the item now is a net loss. If it becomes more expensive, then you having the item is a net gain. But you sitting on the item means that you have that item in that inventory space and not something else. Which means that you might have been better off simply getting rid of the item so that you had space for something else. You have plenty of space, that doesn't matter. But if you don't, then it might be smarter to just get rid of the items so you have the space. And you can see that in some cases in my inventory, where I have like certain items that I probably would have just as a result of playing max level content, and I don't have it because I just dumped the item because I don't want it. And that is because I go with that logic that I don't need this item, I'll just get rid of it. And in a lot of cases, it can be difficult to tell whether an item will swing up or down in price, unless you know something. And I think most of the time, it will swing down in price. There will be cases where it doesn't, because, I don't know. The reason the price is low right now is because the content is popular and current, and later it won't be. I'll say, Rob Gero, hope you're doing well. Song says, or you buy all the items in the data center and resell them at a higher price. That can work to a degree. I have seen cases where, like, you come to sell an item on the market board and suddenly the price is way higher than it was yesterday. And if you check the sales history, you see that one guy just bought everything. What's really cheeky about that is you might see that, and if you see that they did it very recently, you could just put in more at the new price point. And if you just undercut a little bit, then Mr. Moneybags might just have to buy yours too. You just have to undercut it well enough that they feel compelled to buy it to keep the price that they, like, pay dearly for. There was a period where, in Endwalker, where I was kind of like stonksing on classic spectacles. Apparently, those had like a decent price. It cost almost nothing to make. So I just made those and had a few of them on the market board. Every now and then, someone would encroach on my market, and I would just tank the price down, like just until it was no longer feasible to earn anything on it. And then the people would go away. And then I could get back to making money. I'll say, y'all dream. Hope you're doing well. Also true that this is actually a pretty good... if you can hit... There is a specific step in this Relic grind where you need, like, a lot of money to buy items that just cost money. You can't, like... Technically, I believe you can trade the item on the market board, but why would someone pay, I don't know, 100k gil to then sell the item for less? They wouldn't. So the only reason you'd see it on the market board is to pay the idiot tax, which is when someone goes, picks up the item from the vendor, and then sells it at a markup. Do you need to grind guild for in general? I mean, that's what we're talking about right now, Rob Gero. If you scroll up in the chat, you might find that we've already given some tips. And you actually like fell backwards right into a conversation about that exact question. That's why we're talking about it. That's why you're asking about it now. I'm directing you to do that because I don't even remember what we covered and didn't cover. Oh, that's okay, Sean. You asked a question, and it is an interesting topic, so we talk about it. No one else has asked something else. How far are you on the relic on the Dawntrail relic grind, Audrey? The Etherwell step. Oh boy. Time to do like 50 plus roulettes. The day that they managed to make people go, ugh, Crystal Tower in my Alliance raid roulette? Yeah, but that's gonna be faster. Yeah, but it gives nothing. If I remember correctly, Alliance raid roulette, specifically Crystal Tower, gave like 150 or something like that. It was really low. Meanwhile, Near raids gave like 1,000. Remember correctly, and you know they take like 3 times longer or something like that, 3 to 4 times longer. But when they give 5 times or 6 times the reward, what's the problem? Take advantage of the daily bonuses. Very smart. If you're not in a hurry, then that is the best way to do it. I think is it the Alliance raid one? There's one of them that gives almost nothing for the daily. Might make more sense to farm that one, or at least if any one of them starts falling behind, just spam a little bit to keep them like matched up. Boink. There was no line saying you would get pulled too. Go away. I even checked. Ben Castell says, I'm currently doing the paste myself at the moment for Dawntrail, but it's slowing down because I'm also juggling trying to get Scholar to 100. Can't you do that while also doing the pace grind? Or is that what you mean? That you're doing it less than perfectly efficiently because you're also carrying VOD XP? Hey Bronzo! Hope you're doing well. When I have the orange? What orange? Huh? Where did you get your book spreadsheet? How do you mean? Like, how I keep track of all the things I need? One that had all the info of which dungeons, fates, etc. I think there's one just on console games wiki. I remember that each time I had trouble finding the exact page. Yeah, I know what you mean, Bronto. Since we're just waiting for a fate to spawn, I'm just trying to find it now. Good lord. Really hard to navigate this. Which step is the one with the quests? Hey Bulky, hope you're doing well. It's a little bit confusing because the cheat sheet is on the books is not on the book step. It is on the quest step. Haven't you already gotten the Zodiac relics for each job or no? No, I have not, Rovgero. That's why we're here. What makes you think that I had them? I say, hello, blind. Hope you're doing well. We have to do the book step on each AR relic. That's correct. And hey, procrastinauts. And that's also what I ran into, Brontom. As I was saying, it's always difficult for me to find and I have to look it up multiple times. Difficult enough that now that you reminded me, I have this that I made myself, which is just a picture cutout of the whole sheet. Hey Vietes, hope you're doing well. And thank you so much, I'm glad to hear that. Hey Boovomet, hope you're doing well. Let me just go here and progress this. Just go a little round and then if I don't hear anything about the fate spawning, I guess I'll have to go and check a different world on the data center. Hey, Chocolate Alice, hope you're doing well. But yeah, I have not finished all of them, Rovgero. I never needed them. They're just glam. Hence why I'm mostly just doing them for the sake of it. I think it's like a fun activity to just derp around with. Solid way to just have something chill to do. It's gonna get really crazy once we've finished the book step, because then we'll have like a stream where just like zone in, punch Ifrit in the snoot, zone out, zone in, punch Ifrit in the snoot, zone out, zone in, punch Ifrit in the snoot for like 3 hours straight. Because I'll just have like relic weapons lined up ready to go. And Ifrit will be so confused. Like, why? Why me? I say, Freya, hope you're doing well. As well. Nothing yet. Nice, Boobomet. Very nice. Right, visit another world. Bismarck. Come on, Bismarck. Show us the big money. The big fate. And it's pink and blue. Nice, Boobomet. Very nice. Nope. So the trick that I'm doing now, for anyone who's like, what? Is that for this book step, the only task I'm missing is one specific fate. So I'm just hopping between servers, essentially, to see if any of them has it. So we don't have to wait for it to spawn where we already are. I imagine part of it, Brontom, is that it just kind of like plopped in under other events. Waiting for the ambush? What? None? What? No, 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 no. The surprise is one you can't like check for because it disappears so quickly that if you see it and you're like just zoning in, you're gonna see it die. Now we're looking for one called quartz coupling. Yeah, I imagine that, like, since they didn't really... There's another website that has the info. The info of what? Of whether the fate is up or not? Yeah. Yeah, not only... Oh man, Big Bagoli Theory is one of the really, really annoying ones. We just don't need it. There's probably some kind of fate track website. Not really, Tongue, because a lot of it is like somewhat random. You can't just set your watch to it. So the only way that would work is if people were actively looking. I know that there is a mod for being able to just like instantly get a beat on it when you enter a zone, and that information is shared between users of said mod. So if someone passes through a zone, you would know whether it was there or not. But that still requires that one, a person with the mod passes through that zone and sees it, and two, that you also have it. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Well, I guess I'll just go over and wait for it for a little bit. Maybe not on this one, since there's already a fate there. But yeah, there is something like that. The problem is that as a result of how it works, it has to be like manually managed, and for the most part, people don't care about book step fates being up enough to bother. But for the yokai thing, this new, like, let's just say, Bronto, that last time that they ran the yokai event, I believe they had added some new stuff to it. This time, the only thing they've added is like a few rewards that you can just go and get if you already cleared it previously. I have some bad news for you there, Tongue, because that website is also manually handled. If you've ever gone to Eureka and seen someone post a link to a tracker, the things that happen on the tracker is someone clicking a button when they see that a fate just finished or spawned and things like that. The only thing that it'll tell you that is not manually handled is what the weather will be. And that's because that's actually free info. That is just something you can just ask an NPC about. And also, as Asymmetricon says, that is something that people care about. It's not automatic. That's also the reason why sometimes there just isn't a tracker. Or people just won't tell you. It's all manual. It's actually also why, like, there's already a Dawntrail version. Oh, it appeared just now, guys. I had a feeling about this one. No, I didn't. But imagine if I did. Also, weather's calculatable. Yeah, I believe so. Point is, there is a way for you to know what the weather will be. You may not know when a specific fate will spawn. Ain't false gig. Hope you're doing well. Exactly, Kragenmo. Exactly. It's as easy as someone stepping up to the plate and bothering to do it. And also, as Asymmetricon says, the reason why fishing websites just can tell you, oh yeah, that fish is spawning again in 8 months, is because they can just calculate exactly when it will have that combination of weather effects. And then you will know, like, you will know when the exact overlap is. They self-aware. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. Yeah, there is technically a way to track it. The problem is that it is all manual labor. And that is also the reason why the way I know on streams usually, Tom, is that, like right now, and just to be clear, I didn't ask anyone to do it. It's just because they're nice and awesome. I know Gazel is like spying fate spawns for me. That's how I just sometimes know that, oh, that fate just spawned while I'm doing something else. I don't know if anyone else is as well, but I know Gazel is most definitely. I think Ilya might be. And I see Naomi is also in the area. But that might just be Naomi being in the area. So that's my way of spotting the fates, is that we quite literally have a person stationed to track. And sometimes that's enough. Let's see, don't forget to cry. Boop. And the liminal ones. And no big whoop. And for fates, we have Taste of Fear in Kurthus, Schism in Outer Lenosia, and Big Bagoli Theory in Eastern Fanaland. Dang it! Of course! I think there was a zone that had that one spawned, but I'm sure it's gone by the time I'll be there now. Can't remember which server it was. Oh well. Hey Cat, hope you doing well. Cat says, I could spot for you, but I don't want to craft on Ravana latency. Understandable. It would also slow down your crafting if you had to move around for that. Where was Schism again? Is it started by... It might be started by that guy, actually. I refuse to do mental roulette on OGE. That's also, like... See, the thing is... I wouldn't recommend it if you have something that you'd want to do instead. There it is. Fantastic. Hey, Axhard! Hope you're doing well. Thanks so much for the 5 gifted subs. Hope you enjoy your mount. Yeah, if I, like, as you saw, if I run into a spot where I can't progress because I need the fate to spawn or something, I'll just do that. It is very much appreciated if people help, but there's a reason why I'm, like, not specifically asking people for it. Because it's probably dreadfully boring. I'm glad you enjoyed my videos, Axhard. Thank you so much. And Segboy says, I refuse to do mental roulette full stop. Well, you can just... I mean, yeah. That's all, that was also always an option. I assume that It's Fun from Tongue was about mental roulette. Chandler says I don't have it unlocked. That's also fair. It's quite a lot that you need to do to unlock it. I also think personally that I might have lost interest in it if I was just doing it alone. Hey TDO! Hope you're doing well. I like mental roulette. I like it less when it puts me in Praetorium. Ah, yes. Sackboy does not want to be in Ramu Extreme Jail. Also understandable. Very understandable. I really feel like this specific fate is the big scam. It has the icon of it's a boss fight and nothing else. But not really. It's not, it really isn't. Yeah, I could imagine that it also feels safer to queue while we're doing mental roulette streams, since there's a much higher chance that you can just get someone to help, or that you will not land in a specific mental roulette alone. This is a chunky boy! Ah, thank you for the region. Hey, Jace! I wonder if reaching North Tide Gate is the same. I think it is a boss fate, but the difference is that the boss spawns immediately for that one. Here you have to like fight a bunch of dudes and then eventually the boss spawns. I believe both of them are that, Jace. It's just they're located slightly differently. As far as I know, the boss spawns in a blob of regular dudes for Northgate. Is that incorrect? Good luck, Tandema! Wah, wah. The taste of fear. Oh, I'm just gonna go here for a sec. When you just defeat the boss, the other you have to defeat the boss and adds. Right. Every time I've done it, I've just attacked everything, so maybe that's why I don't even notice. I will just station myself here, and then maybe it'll spawn, but I will be right back. In the meantime, sanity restored. Oh man, didn't work. Would have been funny though. Would have been real funny. I could just repeat it. Well, in that case, we do some live quests. I think. Yeah. What's the strategy for the light farm on White Mage, says Butterfly? Pull up, look Ifrit dead in the eye, and hit a Flatus Misery. Just off rip. Just and hope that it works. If it doesn't, then you try and go ba-bam and also hit Azai's. If it doesn't work, then back to the drawing board. An alternative is to just smack King Mugglemog and see if that works. Because if it doesn't, and he doesn't die immediately, then you can just Azai's all of the Mugsguard, and then he will die from resing them. Tongue says any class can. Tongue, have you tried? Have you tried one-shotting Ifrit with every job? Have you tried, Tongue? Specifically while wielding actual garbage as your weapon. It actually makes you do like a fraction of the damage you'd expect. Yeah, that's what you need to do, Tongue. You have to specifically do it with an item level 100 weapon. You'll find that suddenly it's a lot harder. Can you not one-shot it with a good weapon and then equip the relic before you leave? You get the light from the kill itself. Like, specifically when it goes... So no. And even if you could... I do believe you do that, at least. Can anyone confirm on that? I'm pretty sure. That you get the light when you kill. Donna and Jay says on the kill. There is a different step where you can do it. Actually, several. But that is the reason why a common strat is either bring a friend, very effective strategy, just have them one-shot it, or use one of the options. One option, as I've said, is Ifrit. If you can just smack him and kill him outright, you don't have to do it in exactly one hit, but you have to be really, really precise. Because there's a specific HP threshold where Ifrit has several HP thresholds, but there's a specific one where he's like going to become invulnerable quicker. And then you have to wait out a full minute. And at that point, it's more effective to just leave and try again. That is why I believe when I did it on Ninja, I think the strat we ended up using... I can't remember if we just did like a TCJ. Or if we did Tenryundo. But I do remember that we had to like fiddle with it a bit. Yeah, that's the thing, False Geek, is that if you hit him just right, he will get the invulnerability buff and then die anyway. Because just like players can use invul and then die because the damage had already been calculated, bosses can too. Naomi says, I did a silly and only left fates on my current book, so now I have to just go around looking for all of them. Yeah, that's the classic. The reason why I've prioritized checking all the time is that I don't have to do that, but there's a very good chance, Naomi, that just doing all of the other objectives and then going full focus on the fates is actually faster. I just prefer to do it like this. But yeah, it's really about finding like the combo to kill Ifrit with fast enough. Some jobs have it, some don't. And if you don't have it, then an alternative option that is a little slower, but a lot more lenient, is kill King Muggle instead. Because if you miss the one shot, if you get him below 42%, I think, then if you can AoE one shot the entire Mog's Guard, then he will die from resing them. Which is, you know, it's like 10 seconds, something like that, 10 or 12 seconds, I think. And if you miss the 42%, then, I mean, you just have to kill the Mog's Guards in an AoE twice. And then he'll be gone. Which takes like 20 seconds. Both of which are still way faster than waiting for Ifrit to do whatever it is that he does for a minute. And if you can't do that, like if that one doesn't work either, then another option is apparently, and I haven't tried it, it's just something that I've heard about, is Bahamut has like a long sequence where he can like lock himself in to something. And if you just set up and get ready, like really square up, even a job like Scholar can kill Bahamut before the various phase transitions. And that is, again, faster than dealing with Ifrit or potentially King Muggle if you're really slow. I would say 20 seconds. It's not amazing when a good Ifrit takes 5, but it's not bad. Like it's all right. It's decent. It's decent pace, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Exactly. Like if you can't beat Ifrit and then have to wait for a full minute, then 20 seconds is a huge improvement. I'm not sure what to do with White Mage, but I'm guessing. I'm going out on a limb here and guessing that White Mage can one-shot Ifrit. You know what's really funny about that, Seraph, is that when they initially made that change, they quote-unquote accidentally gave a little extra effect where they gave Gunbreaker Holmgang for the duration. And then they took that away. Why would that matter? Is that, as I said, if you invuln after the damage has already been calculated, then you die. But if it gave you Holmgang on top, then the difference is that invuln changes the damage number so you don't take any damage, whereas Holmgang says, yeah, you can take the damage. I can't go below 1 HP, but I can take the damage. You can just tell me how much. Tell me how big, how much it is. 3 million. Well, I can't go below 1, so I'm good. Sorry about that. That was my PC. I'm very sorry. It wasn't consistent. If it was a while ago, then it is possible that I can now. Yeah, sorry guys. I am very, very sorry. Slay enemies that respond to the Pokemon and collect luminous crystals. How about I just kill everything? How about that? How's that for an idea? How's that for a plan? How about if I just kill everything instead? Oh, there you are. Sorry, Ice Sprite, that just was a bystander. Guess you die too. Well, now we just need the old Bagoli. In the meantime, Nodalan. Hey, Mystic Man, hope you're doing well. Playing a Lalafell has made this game really hilarious because all the cutscenes that disappear on screen. Yeah, that is actually a common complaint that I've seen, that a lot of people find it difficult to take cutscenes seriously because of the silly Lalafell on the screen. And I'm just saying, that's on them, because nothing prevents you, big serious muscly Roigadin man, from just wearing a full elephant suit. That would also make it difficult to take it seriously. I'm just saying. And hey, Shaq. Hope you're doing well. How unrelatable. How come people can't take their own Lala seriously? Indeed. Everything must burn. Genghis says, I think we all had a Warrior Dark Knight in our party in Speedos or a maid outfit before, so... Yep, that too, but I think it's more like specifically in the context of you know, MSQ stuff. Like there's like a serious cutscene happening and then the camera turns to reveal the Lalafell. Or that bit in Stormblood where the guy has to kneel down to talk into your eyes and be threatening. There just is no winning with you guys, huh? You'll just plot an additional guy to get aggroed. Mystic Man says, I have a Rigadan friend who wears the Chocobo head and nothing else. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Do we have another Madonna? We do. Ow. Yeah, that is understandable. It can be it can be easy to lose yourself on the screen. A funny story. Originally, Like when I played, for instance, when I played Terraria, I would always switch the color of my character's outfit to like bright white, so that it was very easy for me to spot myself on the screen. Which I guess sounds ridiculous. Like, yeah, you're on the middle of the screen. Yeah, but when it's really dark, it might be difficult to see. So just choose really bright colors, and I always do that. Eventually, that turned into choosing bright pink. And that is also the origin story of why my character always wears pink. It's very easy to spot yourself in a crowd. Until other people do it too. I feel like I remember that Hyosho wasn't enough. But maybe I remember that wrong. What's that supposed to mean, Ben Castell? Why would an astrologer not be allowed to be pink? We were this close to high visibility vest, Lizard. We're kind of there. It's just that the visibility vest is in pink instead of green. I feel like your friend Bern Castell is just mad that you like pink, and they can't come up with a good reason for why you can't be that color. A Lala tank with the adventure card. If you can see me on screen, I'm not pulling enough. Thank you, Gazel. And that's a really silly one. No, you can't be pink and an astrologian. That doesn't fit the color scheme. Look, just be happy that I'm wearing something. Now we just need the mobs and the dungeons. Very nice. Is it just Southern Thanalan? Yes. Minimum height is always funny. My character is also minimum height lizard. Or pangolin. Scavengers, where are you, scavengers? Scavengers. Is that you? No. You? No. You? No. Oh, there's one. Ah, you one-shotted my friends. Well, I have to avenge them. Watch the... Oh, and the tortoise too. Okay. Hello, gentlemen. Naomi needs the Bagoli. Mr. Man says, what's the strangest trade you've ever had to do? Personally, was me giving someone a cookie and they gave one back. I don't really have like a scale of what I would consider a strange trade in 14. I would say at least once a week we have a regular that hands me a fish. It's always a fish I don't have. I know this because I store them on one of my retainers. And each week, it's a new item slot. Congratulations, Audrey! Hey, Shinotaka, hope you're doing well. Says, I just breached into Stormblood for the first time and I just learned about relic weapons. Is it worth it to start grinding for those now, or should I just keep going and excuse a current? Weapons are like this, Shinotaka. Relic weapons that are not from the current expansion are, outside of extremely specific exceptions, considered glamour. As in, you get it for the fit, but to look cool. They don't do anything beyond that. They just look cool. And they are a huge time commitment most of the time, especially if you haven't even started on one. Which is my way of saying, I mean, do what you want. If you want a relic, go for it. But there's no practical reason for you to do it. Just continue with the MSQ. But do remember to do your job quests. You still get a spell at level 70 for jobs when you finish your job quest. Nego dance. Just to be clear, it's a specific person that gives me the fish. Do you think they're going to make Chocobos actually smart and able to dodge AoEs? Yes, I do think, at least for the dungeon version that they said they were gonna do, I think those will actually be able to dodge. In the same way that trusts can. The bringer of fish. Hey, Takari. Hope you're doing well. I'm inspired to give random people fish now. You're welcome. I think it's Mari? Is the name that gives me fish? Hey, 8th Cup. I hope you're doing well. I'm farming Atmas along with the Yokai event medals. That is smart and efficient. This would be the time. If you need Atmas for the early AR relic step, this would be the time. Regardless, by the way, of whether you yourself need the yokai stuff, there might be other people doing it. Like, there will be more people doing fates, is the incentive here. Song says, if you're interested, it's not just you. We all get fish. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. And just to be clear, I said this because I think it's a trait that other people would say, that is a little bit weird. I just say thank you and take the fish. In fact, as someone people might recognize on the streets of Final Fantasy XIV, I'm not unfamiliar with the concept of just standing around somewhere and then someone opens a trade window and hands me something. And then I just click yes and go thanks. Pretty frequently when I'm in Limsa Lominsa to just trade in poetics or something, someone will walk up to me and hand me an egg. I take the egg, thanks, and eat it. Julton says, I used to random trade sprouts my extra minions. Also a way to do it. I don't really have extra minions. That is a good way to do it. As a smoke be doing well. It's a boiled egg, of course. Get it from a Grand Common loot box. Yeah, I don't buy that. I have gotten so many dots from that I just went, this is pointless. So instead, I'm trying to hit the venture cap slowly. It's a little project I have on the side. I believe the cap is 65,000. Yeah, just says, question on the Dawntrail Relic. I'm on the fill the orbs part. Is it really going to be like 11 to 14 days based on RNG I get to fill the orbs? You don't have to do it once per day. You get points for every roulette you do. You just get a little extra for the daily. So you don't have to wait. It will be more efficient, time-wise, to do it once per day. But you could just spam it out and get it over with. I would recommend, if you want to speed it up a bit, figure out, I can't remember which one. I think it might be a Lion Trade. But I don't remember which one. One of them gives way less for the daily. Like, smash that one out. Like, just do that one, get it over with, or get it close to finished. And just, do the other ones as a daily. And then, work your way through them. You could also just spread it out and keep all 4 orbs somewhat equal. But you don't have to wait. You can just spam. It's just slightly more efficient to do it with the daily. Russia says, someone in my free company gifts lemons to random people. She was very excited when we met Mari in the gold saucer one time and they exchanged lemons and fish. Aww. That's really funny. That's like how most Lalafels greet each other pretty consistently. Just, oh, that's a Lalafell, so they're awesome, obviously, and then they just go up and emote at each other. In the same way, the givers of random stuff run into each other and just greet each other by just trading random stuff. Yeah, that is true, Verdus. There's no rush. You can get there when you get there. But it is worth mentioning that none of the Dawntrail relic steps require it to be the daily. Wah! 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 What the axolotls doing? Boop. Triple kill! Boop. We're back in the dungeons. We're back in the dungeon mines. Dead. When life gives you lemon, you give fish back? Yes. Apparently. Hey, Kylan. Hope you're doing well. That's correct, Kylan. Your garden is kind of empty? Well, if I'm not there, I imagine that people have less reason to, like, come hang out. When life gives you lemon, squeeze over baked salmon. Oh, that does sound nice. Eat moist potato. Hope you're doing well. Did someone get a large shipment of lemons or something? No. It was, Crusher said that they have a friend in their free company that hands people lemons. And we know someone who hands people fish. You knew one that hand out bread? Nice. That's a good idea, Mystic Man. Because it can be difficult to know exactly what the voice you choose sound like without doing something like that. All I know is that the voice I picked for my Lala alt is the one where the ladies go, wah! 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 So, which I have heard is supposedly one of the annoying ones. It's the same one Shaq uses. Jog, 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 jog. And dead! Yeah, yeah, yippee! Meow. These followers like, all right, our evil schemes are finally coming to fruition. Slowly but surely. What's that? Oh! Hey, Haunted Mask? I can't wait to see my dear friend Tenka. Ah! At least White Mage isn't the slowest job at this stuff. Sarah says, I had a Lala alt with the shortest possible height and picked the smallest mouth, but gave her the loudest voice. That is pretty funny. I mean, Ibis, there's only so many options. What I would say, if you don't want to get too fancy with it, we don't know what stats you'd need. You'd probably want a lot of crit. Hard to say whether you need skill speed. But you could go and just farm Bahamut or something. You know, just do coils to get a full set of 130 gear. The only thing you'll be missing is you need a ring for Poetics. And then, presumably, the Beastmaster gear itself might get stronger from doing activities as Beastmaster. But then you have a starting set, at the very least. Which is not too bad. If the starting set, all it took was that you went and punched Bahamut in the snoot like 8 times or something. Yeah, for running these dungeons, the slowest you could possibly be is if you're playing a job that does not have any movement options. And at least White Mage has access to Ethereal Shift, so it's not all bad. Like, in terms of actually moving through the dungeon, while not relevant, because no Irrelevant Bond Relic, but Astrologian would be slower. Because they don't have anything. They even have to wait a couple seconds for their dot to tick. A lot of people say, Rovgero, that it is level 70. I think it depends greatly on the job. And also greatly on what the individual counts as complete. Do you even need dots with light speed? You will, because you only have a 25% uptime of light speed. You have 2 charges, but it has a 60-second charge time and 15-second duration. You will run out of light speed. So yeah, a little bit. When it comes to AoE, if you just need to one-shot a bunch of guys, it's probably better than White Mage at that. Just let them bunch up on Lightspeed Gravity. Yeah, but again, 25% uptime. And for the mobs to bunch up, you sometimes have to stop moving. which you don't have time for. Like, if you're competing with something like White Mage, where you just run until you hit the end of the dungeon, like you saw that I just did there, then stopping to let the mobs bunch up means you've already lost. Not like White Mage can do any better on that. It's just that White Mage has Ethereal Shift, so, like, right now, I'm faster than an Astrologian, because I clicked Ethereal Shift once. But you don't need it. Like, you don't need anything. I'm just saying that light speed is something that I did consider when I said that White Mage is faster at doing these dungeons like this. Rob Garrett says, I hope this game stays around long enough to reach level 1000. I have a feeling that that won't happen. Because when we hit level 100, Yoshi P had already started thinking about what they're gonna do about that. It's a little surprising that they chose to do nothing going into Evercold. But it would be shocking if we don't eventually run into the, oh yeah, max level is 60 now. At a rate of 10 levels every 2 years or so, I think I'll die before reaching 1000. Yeah, exactly. That too. But I mean, nothing bad about hoping that a game you like sticks around forever. Right? But I still do think that it is an impossibility that max level would be 1000, because they would cut it in half. Also true, Z's. Also true. But that is the problem when you, like, that is the problem when you, in an MMO, go, okay, well, we have this infinitely scaling problem. What do we do about it? And instead of going for a long-term solution, just go, what if we just cut the current number in half and call it a day? Then you haven't solved the problem. So the problem is not solved. It's just gonna reappear. That's also what happened with, late Shadowbringers. They were like, okay, we do a stat squish going into Endwalker. Genuinely, start of Dawntrail, we had already surpassed end of Shadowbringers numbers, if I remember correctly. So the big squish that happened with Endwalker, gone. It's already, like, we've already went past it again. Because the actual problem is the pace of scaling to begin with. And there's, you know, there's a whole separate conversation to have about that, like, what is the correct amount? What's the right way to do it? And I don't know if there is a correct answer to that. It's simply a matter of how much scaling are the devs happy with. By the way, I find it really funny that I'm one-shotting these mobs so that my jog is preserved, because I don't even enter combat. Chandler says, I'm not even sure what would be the best counter to that. I mean, I think the best counter, the only one that actually permanently solves the problem, is if they just stop scaling like that. But that's not the kind of MMO that 14 is. I'll say, Gasol, hope you're doing well. And thank you so much for the gifted sub. Hey, Metronoid, hope you're doing well. The book steps are alright. They're pretty alright. Haven't had too much trouble with getting the fates to appear. I think their implementation of level scale dungeons are a step towards attempting to fix it. I don't think that's attempting to fix that, Chocolate Alice. I think that's an attempt at fixing the problem where you get synced down to all, like, to super low, like, and then you lose your actions and things like that. There's a bunch of things that can help with. A big bad idea. Fates. We have... Oh, no. We have surprise, everybody. Surprise has entered the building. I believe that one is up there. But yeah, there isn't really a solution to the whole scaling problem, aside from, you know, making it so that there isn't such a problem to begin with. Right? Like, that's the solution, which is why I'm saying that the only way that you can get around it is just not be a vertically scaling MMO. Which, you know, that's not really a solution, right? Ah, well, you see, the problem is that you're the wrong game. Thanks. I don't know what to do with that, but thanks. I guess. Exactly, Jewel Tones. Tired of being poor? Have you tried being rich instead? Mystic Man says, what's your favorite primal? Oh, I think that's between Ravana and Susano. Let the revels begin! Feels like when Hiccup's dad in How to Train Your Dragon says the problem is everything. It's like, at this point, just be a different game. That one is like... That one is also relatable to the... You're a teacher, you explain something, and someone is like, I don't understand it. And you're like, okay, well, what part is it that you don't enjoy? What part of it is it that you don't get? And they're like, everything? Like, just, can you re-explain all of it? It's like, no, I can't. You had to pay attention the first time. We don't have time for that. Come on. The seas part for we alone. Meanwhile, I got the Enuo card on the clear where I hit 100 totems. Cards be like that sometimes, everybody. Ditman says, I want more cutscenes of the primals hanging out and just chatting. You know the funniest bit about that? Is that the way you worded it, that could both mean the band and also actually primals. And both would be funny. Just like, you're just in the middle of the MSQ and then just smash cut to like a hot seat where Susano and Ravana is discussing battle strategy. I send in like this wave of butterflies to distract the enemy while I power up. Oh, that's genius. I just I typically just smack them with my sword, to be honest. Like, incidentally, that has this effect where, like, orbs come in to distract them, which is pretty convenient, but recently I found that it's not as effective because I think the Warriors of Light are getting too powerful. Yeah, I've noticed that too. It's really annoying. I don't even get to do my last liberation before they stop me. Kind of sad, really. Their loss. Their loss. Too short of a battle. They should just hang out a little more. They should just chill. They should rejoice in the glory of combat. Am I right, Ravana? Ah, hey, hey, hey. Would Garuda be a beauty influencer podcaster? Maybe, and she would definitely hang out with Barbaricia. Oops. And Lakshmi. Sophia teaches yoga. Oh, good to be bud. Charge! Attack! Onward! To battle! Now, Mr. So, you know, wait, so you know how people want Medem to come with for future raids? How about we just get Ravana and Tosano to do duo commentary? Yeah, do that. What do you think of this maneuver, Ravana? I think it needs more slashes and swords. Yeah, you know, you're right. It is a double caster comp. Look at them. They don't even have a main tank. Oh, yeah, that's not how this works, Mobile. Aha, you're weakened. Time for my signature move. Nope. It's Metricon says Bismarck has a whale song ASMR channel. He's like one of those alpha podcasters talking about how fire is everything, and just get strong, bro. I like to imagine that Ifrit would just be like in the background of someone else's podcast, and he'd just be barking. You'd be unsure why, but then it's because, as some of you know, we like to refer to Ifrit as a dog. And he's just leaning into it. Like, that's hilarious. I'm gonna do that. He lost a bet. Who did he lose the bet with? Yeah, I did see that you're all on Ravana. But I'm also doing a different fate. I can't, like, leave this one. Greg has a Patreon. No one is sure what he does, but he does have one. Hey Dan, hope you're doing well. Hey, Gazel. Hey, Prince No Qualm. Hope you're doing well. Sorting on the porch, shouting at Nidhogg playing in the yard. Can you keep it down? What is up on Ravana, guys? Which one? Surprise. I'm coming over. Let's see if I can make it. Surprise, I think, higher priority. Get off my lawn! Darn dragons! What do you mean by surprise being up? Check. Did you see it spawn and then left? Oh, there you are. Oh, fair enough. I wasn't sure because I couldn't see you. Nice. For a second, I thought that you had, like, done the... Well, I saw it. But you did say you also needed it. It's okay, I'm just here for the eye. Oh, so not only are you intruding, you're only here to steal. Oh, my word. What fates do you need beyond surprise? In spite of it all. Which thankfully is less of a hassle to get. Mostly because it doesn't, like, get despawned in a matter of seconds. It's the... this is, like, the one where if it's... If you... Unless someone else is doing it, it's gone. If it's, like, sticking around for, like, 30 seconds. With no one helping. Sophia. Mr. Man says, Garuda never pays her portion of the bill and always claims she didn't eat enough to warrant paying. Oh, that would be annoying. No, I barely ate anything. Just... very burger-shaped object in neck, in throat. Garud. I actually have. I ended up never releasing it, but I had. There was like back in the small Kai streams. There was this silly thing that happened, which I called Primal Gamers, which was like we were running between alliance raids for the Endwalker alliance raids. We had this joke about Garuda, Titan, and Ifrit gaming. I had this whole thing with Ifrit insisting on using flamethrowers and Titan lecturing him, but for some reason insisting that he should use something like grenades instead, you know, explosions and bombs that kind of look like rocks. And Garuda's just knife running, which of course means that it's Counter-Strike, which means that like 2 of those things don't even exist. So it didn't really make sense. But I made a short of it and then I never released it. One day, maybe. Yeah, exactly. I still have it. I have not thrown it out. I'm just like, eh. Maybe on a Friday where I don't have anything else. Could be crazy. I mean, in this specific context, it somehow became relevant. So, you know. No, let's finish with that, because we have to finish in Madonna anyway. East Route, and I will be right back. In the meantime, Manatee restored. Exactly, Mystic Man. Exactly. Anyway, I'm back. Surprise! How many things do we have in the shroud? 3. Babarici and Hector would run a boxing ring. Maybe. That could definitely be a funny series. Just raid bosses, trial bosses, getting up to really random shenanigans. And it doesn't make any sense because, you know, some of them are supposed to be dead. But they're just there anyway because it would be funny. I'm glad to hear that, Mystic Man. Thank you so much. I have mentioned before, but the origin story of the channel is that I was helping friends in my free company learning. And a friend of mine was like, sometimes a little bit at a loss if I wasn't, you know, online or available at that very moment. So I was like, yeah, but I mean, you could just, you know, look up a guide if I'm away. Like, maybe that would help. And she said, no, I can't, because I can't keep up with those guides. Like, they go too fast. So I can't. I'm coming to you because you explain it. And so I started making guides exactly for that. You know, oh, well, if the existing guides are bad, then I guess I'll have to do it myself. I didn't even check what the existing guides were. I was just like, well, if there aren't actually guides that are useful, I guess I'll just have to figure it out myself. I usually relied on text-based stuff, so. But that is the story. Raid bosses have a life outside of being beaten up. You would need the episode where they where like they're checking in, like they're chipping in on in for work. Like, I mean, it's normal raid day. I have to just let them beat me. You see, like the new guy coming in. He's like, ooh, yay. You seemed pretty down last week. What's up with you now? Well, last week was the normal raid week, but now is when Savage releases. And I'm the last boss. Wish me luck. Hey. Just Kefka chipping in like, oh, hey, wait a minute. We haven't seen you in a short bit. Yeah, well, I mean, they decided to rehire me, and they gave me a better job. So how could I say no? Yeah, during the raid race, the later boss is just sitting at the lounge going, so, how long till they get here? Nah, I don't know. The bros are kind of beating them up pretty hard. Pretty good idea with that combo mechanic that those guys came up with. It's really hard to just guess what it's about. Gonna keep them for a little bit. Oh, they're dead. Well, my turn then. Tyrant getting up. Lindworm, they're like, ooh, finally, it's almost my turn. Then a whole nother day passes because Tyrant. Well, not a whole nother day, but half a day almost. My turn. Anyone seen my weapons? How many do we have? 3, I think. My turn. That could be amazing. The boss sitcom. Just a look into the behind the scenes of being a raid boss. I hired these Christmas carolers to chant in my final phase. What? Why? I thought the company gave us the music. What? Do you have to add yourself? Oh man, is that why I'm not the final boss? I didn't put in enough effort? Aw, dang it. A Power Rangers knockoff staring the goblins from A8. You would also have episodes in the series just staring random mobs. You just see a short little episode called Relic Grind Day. Just a random mob out in the field just going, what a day. What's that I'm hearing? Just explosions out in the distance. What's happening? Oh god! Or maybe even like it's a really long episode where just nothing in particular is happening. Like you're just going through the day of elite priest, getting up in the morning, having a shower, having breakfast, like getting ready, like kissing the wife goodbye. Like I'm gonna go to work. Goes to work. And if you don't want it to be too dark, it's just sitting like he just checks in, like goes to a spot. And then he just gets punched by a warrior of light. Just, ooh! Oh, man, well, break, I guess. He comes back a little bit later. Get punched again. A few mobs in a dungeon. Paul! You think they'll be able to pull off a wall-to-wall? Nah, Jake, this tank always forgets to turn on his stance. We're chillin'. Random pack in an optional side room. You think they'll remember us today? I don't know, man. I've been here for weeks. They said we can't go home until we get killed. Quote unquote killed. We have ran out of tea, everybody. Heroes of the Second in Southern Thanalan. Hmm. Do. Hello? Do you have the mob that I need? Oh, there you are. Hello. Just ask Perfect Alexander for more. Does he have tea? I think I'll get the wrong kind of tea if I ask him. Or maybe he's cool. He is perfect after all. Enjoy work, Mystic Man. Sapsa Elbst. Oh right, these are closer. Off to be a mob in a dungeon somewhere. Oh no. See you in the future. Good luck. Oh. And now to Madonna. Jay says, I found someone from my NA homeworld on Materia. That's like, it's a bit like when people go to Light for party finder reasons, only to make a full party of players from Chaos. It's like, well, we could have all stayed home, but here we are. Alright, we have the duck. Just remembered. Duck! Wah. The flying duck. Well, it's a platypus. Dan says, random question. If you do multiple Unrealm Reborn relics at once, do you have to buy the books for each weapon? You have to buy the books for each weapon, first of all. Not only that, you can only have one book at a time. Which means that if you have 5 weapons, for example, or I don't know why I would think exactly 5, that all need book steps, you can only do 1 at a time. Najak Rush, hope you're doing well. I mean, it would be very boring to do alone, but that's pretty fun. Just hanging out. Pretty chill to do. It's not too bad. There's multiple, like, justifications for that, Dan. In that, if you could have multiple books at once, whether it would be through different jobs having each their own, or just being able to have multiple books at once. There are some books that have overlap in tasks, like the same dungeon or the same live quest, or even the same fate. So it kind of doesn't work. Like that's not the intention. But again, that's also what leads back to... And this is why Dawntrail relics and Endwalker relics are not like that. And even something like Shadowbringers relics are also like... They have steps that are like more involved, but they're one time. There are still like somewhat grindy tasks, but they are nowhere near something like this. And now, we are just missing some dungeons. What the duck doing? Doobie doobie dooba doobie doobie dooba. There's actually something funny to that, because specifically Bozja has a lot of overlap. Like... the most notable overlap is that if you, like, meter out your tasks somewhat smartly, then you will almost never actually see Dalriata as efficient. Because a later, like, the step where you get 3 things from Dalriata, red, there is a different step that gives 3 things from Delubrum Reginae and 2 things from the thing that Dalriata is supposed to be good at. So you would only really need to do Dalriata a couple times. And Delubrum Reginae, at least back in Shadowbringers, was like, it was more efficient to just queue Delubrum Reginae and do that, like, twice, than sit around in Zadnor waiting for Dalriata to happen. The 3 memories you get from normal raids? Couldn't you get those from Fates as well? Leave me alone, clams! Insano, hope you're doing well. I remember doing a task that was a one-time thing. We needed a whole bunch of random drop, like of a chance drop. Where you could do, like, one part of it was in Heavensward zones and one part of it was in Stormblood zones. But I think you could also do raids for it or something like that. And I ended up just doing Fates, but that's also because I had a Blue Mage that was already, like, geared up for it, so it was pretty fast to just spam Fates. And the drop rate was pretty decent. But it's been a long time, because I realized that I wanted the Shadowbringers relics, because, you know, I actually reached endgame in Shadowbringers, so I was like, this is actually, you know, useful gear. And now that I've started all these relics, it's probably going to be really inconvenient by comparison to collect all these relics and finish them once Bozja is no longer current. So I should probably get on that. So I had, like, a whole system where I made sure to, like, do a certain amount of tasks per day, so that I could make sure that I would finish the whole thing before Endwalker. And I finished so fast that, like, it wasn't even remotely close. Like, I think I finished easily a month early. Hey Jet, hope you're doing well. But I did it specifically because I didn't want to have these like half-finished relics that I had to deal with. Are you doing relics for multiple jobs, just the one? I'm gradually working through the book step for every single one that I haven't finished, Jack Rush. We have both the warrior and monk weapon is on the step past book step. So we have already done Alexandrite as well. I also already have a completed Black Mage, Paladin, and Ninja relic. But the Black Mage one I did, more precisely, originally I started on a Paladin relic years ago. And then I decided to start on a new one just for the fun of it, and I decided for the Black Mage one. And then I wanted to finish up the Paladin one I already had. Kind of had to do that. So I did that. And then the Ninja one I did specifically for a stream where we tried to get a full relic completed in a single day. And once I'd done that, the only thing that remained is finish the rest of them. Now we're doing that a little bit at a time. But we're not exactly hurrying. It's just... Let's just say, Jagrush, that before I did this, these streams were me walking somewhere in the game. It's just something to do while we're just hanging out. And admittedly, book steps aren't exactly particularly demanding. Schism is up? Does anyone need Schism? Mia says, I remember the ninja stream. I only called the end though. That is perhaps not that bad. One of the weirdest things about that stream was people like checking in. Like near the start, we were like doing stuff because like stream starts. We get the weapon, get that going. Like you have to go through a few dungeons and such, like collect parts and such. And then we hit the book step. And then like people saw that. And then it's like, oh, well, I have to go to work. Catch up later. And then they're like, they come check back in for lunch or something. Jace, which world is Schism on? On Sephiroth, right. You did mention that. It's on Sephiroth, Naomi. But they like check in for lunch or something and be like, you're still on the book step? Yeah, of course I am. What number book? And I made the mistake of I had like a speedrun timer on screen, but the book step was one singular step. That took like 7 hours. And that was like full blast turbo speed, where like every time I picked up a book, I had friends that had incidentally just decided to help with, but effectively just had stationed themselves ready and had found which world the fate was available on. So I could just go and do the 3 fates and then just do everything else, no problem. Like, that is pretty much as fast as you can possibly do it. And that took, like, 7 hours. And then, the moment we cleared the book step, it was, like, 10 minutes or less for Alexandrite. And then, like, 30 minutes for the light step. And then, like, I think 45 minutes or something for the, what remained of... Actually, nothing, because the quest step we just did simultaneously, as you see we do here. And then there was just more light step, I think. So, like, the moment we finished the book step, it was just done. Comparatively. But yeah, I do not recommend doing a whole Realm Reborn relic in one day. It's crazy. Yeah, it was... The moment the book step finished, you had to really pay attention if you didn't want to miss a step. Because I had, like... Item collection steps were finished in advance. The only reason we did the book step live is because... that's part of the objective of doing it. Everything that could be done in advance was done in advance. When you exhausted when you finished that? Oh, sure. It was also like one of those streams where I started in like around noon, I think. And we finished, like, I think, close to or even past the normal end time. So it would be like, I would say longer than what often happens on, you know, patch day, where we do the whole alliance raid and, like, for instance, the whole alliance raid or the whole normal raid and also the new MSQ all in the same, like, in almost one sitting. Like, with a short break in between. And it was longer than that. Hey Yannick, hope you're doing well. Angus says, I find it funny you're doing Aurum Vale when I had a good Aurum Vale run on leveling for Scholar. One where the tank doesn't pull literally everything at once. It is a matter of finding the trick. After they reworked, slightly like polished up Aurum Vale and did some changes with the with the duty support addition to it. A change happened, like they rearranged where the mobs are in some rooms, which specifically made it so that the optimal path through the main, like the first room, was changed from leaning hard left to being going straight through the middle. Because they moved a pack that previously you dodged by going hard left, they moved to the door. So you can't skip them now. At least not without sneaking, but good luck convincing people to sneak. Yeah, the most effective path now is through the middle, because you can dodge the 3 mushrooms on the left if you do that. But you will probably pull the toad. But like that was always like a random chance anyway, so not missing much. Let's see. Reaching North Tide Gate. Black and Naburu. Oh, that's already here. Fantastic. And Breaking Dawn. Hey, Mezonite. Remember having Unbreaker who decided to not wait for one of the sprouts to finish the dungeon cutscene, didn't bother to get my Cardia up on a Sage, and didn't mid. I mean, to be fair, you typically don't need to wait for the healer to give you Cardia. Like, it's an OGCD. I don't quite understand that bit. But I do see what you mean, that sometimes you'll have a tank that is going a little too fast. Like, beyond what the party is comfortable with. Hey, Volpixel, hope you're doing well. You have a niche caster question. Go ahead. A niche caster question. Reaching Northside Gate is up on Sophia. Ravana. Okay, I'll come back. And yeah, the right, the oases. Yeah, that was the thing with that bit. I didn't really mind that people like to do that, but I do feel like it seemed like an oversight that you could just skip all of that in a dungeon. I feel like that can't possibly have been the intention, at least. I'm not gonna be like, so therefore you're the jerk for doing it. It's like that. Like, I mean, the devs didn't fix it. Oh, I might not make that. Hello, William. Oh yeah, I do see what you mean. The boss isn't even here. It's not that bad, Ben Castell. You in Aurum Vale, you at least have Ryokoli and your instant cast shields. But yeah, I do get what you mean. You don't have that much. Let's just say, Jace, that it's true that people generally skipped the oases. You just had to run quickly. It is also true that if you were not quick, you would get interrupted. So if you ran first, you had to be super fast. You couldn't wait for anyone, because if you got aggro, you had to just bolt for the door. That is true. That is a fact of how it worked. Where was Breaking Dawn? Up there. Thank you. Whoops. Never could figure out the best way to skip consistently anyway. Essentially, the most effective way to do it, the easiest way to do it was to be second or third, so that someone else would take the aggro. Because they had to hurry. You could take your time. Because the mobs would be like, when the first one runs through the door, the mobs would be standing there like, huh. Well, for like a few seconds, and you had time to click. But yeah, I have personally not been in a position where I was like, mad that a party didn't, like, skip. But it was really common that parties skipped. And the thing that I didn't like about it is that if someone, like, if people didn't realize that you were supposed to skip, then it was really easy to be left behind. And yeah, sure, what you can do is just, you know, just let the mobs have you. And then once someone pulls the boss, you can just get spawned into the boss room and it's fine. But that's not a very good first time experience, I feel. Not a very good first time experience. Gilton says, I'm playing Warrior and I have raw intuition of bloodwetting. The rest of the party is here to just make the dungeon faster. Typically, yeah. Typically, that's how it ends. there's something to be said that out of all of the dungeons in Final Fantasy XIV, by the time Warrior has Raw Intuition, it's probably more likely than not that Warrior can just solo a dungeon. Like, the question is more, well, is there a reason why Warrior can't do it? Because they tend to have the healing. Jay says, I genuinely didn't care to use the skip. I was not saying it's not true or possible to do, just NA players tend to not be able to skip it. We probably could like one-fifth of the time. Based on what I've heard about NA, Jace, I have a feeling that it's actually data center specific. So it's not just NA, it's more precise than that. But I do see what you mean. It's very common in EU. Or it was, right? It was very common in EU. But again, I didn't really care for it. I always, like, the moment that they said that they were gonna rework or, you know, take a look at the old dungeons to fix them up for duty support, I said something to the effect of, I will be shocked if the skip stays. Because I have been shocked for years that it has stayed for this long. And my perspective is also that there's no need for the skip to be there. I'm just saying, if that was the intended solution, then they could have just not had the mobs. Theo says, this is kind of all fallout from getting rid of the XP from the trash mobs. Not fully, but yes, that is probably why it became more normal for parties to do that. Because before then, there was some justification in clearing the mobs for the XP. But let's not forget that the XP from mobs never scaled with your level. So, if the party had players that were, you know, synced down, they'd be like, well, I don't need the XP from these level 38 mobs. So can we just skip? And it was also not that alien. Yeah, we were talking about Cotta's Cry, we were. It was not that alien to skip mobs where possible. Because apparently, and I have a video on this, I call it the Death March, is back in A Realm Reborn, this was a lot more of a thing, because due to the way prices were on things, repair costs were a lot more impactful. The way that durability works on your gear is that the main way that your gear durability goes down is when you die, it goes down a little bit. Whenever you gain XP, it goes down, or it can go down. And that is the way that the devs decided to keep track of whether you participated in combat. Is if you got XP, then you fought something, then your gear probably got a little bit damaged and, like, scratched. So I believe you could also have like durability loss from like randomly from attacks. But the trick to this, the galaxy brain to this, was certain dungeons you can just pull to the boss. So what you do is you would just have the tank run in front, pull everything, and everyone else just run behind. And then the tank just dies in the boss room, just before the boss. And then you just rest the tank, and cool beans, it just works. You skipped all of those mobs. You didn't have to kill any of them, and because you didn't kill any of them, you didn't get XP. And so you didn't get durability loss. And now some of you might be saying, why didn't they just pull the boss? Or they could have just wiped the whole party and used the teleport to skip it, right? And no, the teleport to the boss room is a quality of life thing they added for most dungeons in Dawntrail. And I believe it was either like mid-Shadowbringers or something in Endwalker, I can't remember exactly, that they added the feature where if you didn't make it into the boss room before the door closed, they offered to teleport you in. So, like, back then, it wasn't as easy to just skip stuff. But it was still pretty easy. And the incentive was just different. But the incentive was there, and if you were someone who had participated in skipping stuff at max level, then you would know that these tricks also worked in low level stuff if you needed it. But yes, it definitely didn't help that they removed XP from trash packs. As a proxy, hope you're doing well. The amount of people that have never looted the extra rooms from the Sunken Temple of Khan. Yeah. I mean, it's not like that gear looks very good. I think, isn't most of it specifically designed to look broken? Yes, I did know that, Jace. It's very rare people go for it. And I believe I got that minion when a friend showed me that it exists. So yeah, I know. And turned into crafted gear? That's true. But that is also like a specific item level that people rarely bother with. But that is true. Alright. Well, Pictor says, so I've been messing around with Phantom Red Mage's dual cast on other casters, and on Pictor I gain gauge slightly quicker and save like half a GCM subtract a pallet. Where is that time saved from? Do you have latency problems, or do you normally clip the GCD sometimes? Do you try to weave stuff where there isn't a weave window? Do you try to double weave after a cast on Pictomancer? Because if you do, then you're using a weave space you don't have. If you're getting extra, like if you're getting more time, if you're gaining time on Pictomancer, through the dual cast from Phantom Red Mage, then either Phantom Red Mage gives you something, or you're clipping. But I don't have Phantom Red Mage at level 6, so I don't know. I haven't even used Phantom Red Mage yet, so I don't know. That could easily pass me by. Dan says, so before that, if players didn't wait for you to finish your cutscene, you'd be locked out of the boss? Yeah. Sometimes. Which also meant that I think people were a lot more likely to wait for you, because there weren't, like, an easy fix. Like, there's a lot of these kinds of things where, because it was more tedious and complicated in the past, people were more likely to be a little bit more, like, considerate and working together on it. But when things become really easy, people just go, whatever, doesn't matter. So that is, like, part of the problem, is that one way to solve it is to just say, well, now the problem is gone. Kind of. Then people just not, like, work around the original problem anymore, because, well, it's gone. The incentive is gone. But that does sound weird, Volpixel. Does anyone that has Phantom Red Mage maxed out know what could be going on? Sackbus as a clip of you doing that rotation would be interesting. Yeah, that would also be a way to check it. What was the problem again? Volpixel says that they're gaining a surprising amount of time on Pictomancer by having Phantom Red Mage's dual cast. Which is to say, simply by having more instant casts, they're effectively casting stuff faster somehow. Like, they're getting more GZDs in, which shouldn't be possible because Pictomancer's GZD is longer than their casts. Phantom Jump, they can speed up allies. Time Mage can use Quicken. They start Subtractive Palette with a dual cast. I made yourself? No, I do believe Quicken can be used on someone else. Yeah, that shouldn't happen, at least, Volpixel. Hey, Sly Wolf, hope you're doing well. Yeah, the possibilities, Volpixel, is either there is a bug, which is possible, and that what you're saying is actually happening, and the dual cast for some reason just puts a normal GCD on the subtractive palette cast instead of the intended extended one. And if it does that, you would be able to probably test this quite easily by casting Rainbow Drip. And just get dual cast and cast Rainbow Drip. If that happens instantly and does not give you a 6-second GCD, which you, like, it doesn't even have to be 6 seconds. You will probably notice that it's very fast compared to what it should be. If it's really fast still, then there's a bug. If it's not, then it's possible that there's something you're doing that you're not, like, noticing that you're doing. I don't know what it would be when you're saying you're just spamming casts and then using subtractive palette and it's happening. But if it is a bug, then we'd probably be able to see but that it's there, if it is there. Scary says, does TOS require you to report a bug if you find one? I don't know what the exact requirements are, but let's just say that I don't recommend, like, if you find, like, a bug that gives you a major DPS gain or something, that you just abuse it like crazy. Might as well report it. The thing that Volpixel has noticed, Gyazel, is that specifically, if I understood correctly what they said, you do a GCD, which gives you dual cast. Then you weave subtractive palette, and then you cast that, you know, subtractive palette GCD. And that GCD will be faster than usual. Like, it will be, you know, 0.8 seconds faster than it's supposed to be. Is that what happened, Volpixel? Did I describe it correctly? Or did you leave? Yeah, I don't think there's necessarily something where they state that you have to report a bug if you find it. But if you find something that you know for sure is a bug, I don't recommend abusing it. Like, if you know that, oh, this is not how it's supposed to work, and it gives you some sort of clear advantage, it might be a bad idea to do. Well, Pixel says, I was timing things wrong. When looking at the actual GCD, it all evens out. Well, there you go. Fantastic. Well, it is a fair question. Those things can be really weird sometimes. Chocolate Dice, Alice says, abusing bugs is against the TOS. Exactly. The thing is, the reason why I'm, like, trying to be a little bit vague about it is that there are cases that are known as clever use of game mechanics. Which is to say, there are cases where you're like, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to work like this, and then you find out years later that, no, actually that's a bug. Because with the way 14 works, a lot of these things might be intentional. Like, I've had trouble finding it, but I do specifically remember that I noted at one point that I think it was Warrior's Bloodwedding healing is not, or was not, affected by the healing increase from Thrill of Battle specifically. Specifically Thrill of Battle. I don't remember if I tested other things, but specifically Thrill of Battle didn't affect, like that healing increase didn't affect it. I was like, oh, well, I mean, I guess it makes sense. Bloodletting is a little bit of a weird thing. Didn't affect Nascent Flash either. Like, I guess that might be intentional, that's just how they designed it, I guess. And then I think sometime in Dawntrail there was like a random patch where, like, in the patch notes, they were like down at the bottom with the bug fixes. They were like, there's this bug where Bloodletting and Nascent Flash didn't get affected by certain healing increasing effect. And I'm like, what? If using bugs as games as TOS, slide casting is a bug. Slide casting has essentially been made into clever use of game mechanics, and that's just how the game works. And that's a good example. That how are you supposed to know that that's how it's supposed to work? Because sometimes the jank gets so dank that you can't possibly know whether it's real or fake. But sometimes there are cases where it's like, where it's pretty obvious. Right? An ARC. To be fair, Unga maxing I believe needed to use like special commands to use the limit break of squadrons outside of squadrons. Like, at that point, you should know that you're doing something that, like, if you can do something that you can't do without this outside feature, then obviously. AC Ungamax, was it that easy? If it was that easy, then it is, of course, something that clearly looks like that's an oversight. I would still say it looks like something where you're like, oh, this is obviously not supposed to work like that, but it's definitely a lot easier than I thought it was. Wow, that's a very metallic sound. Never mind. I would also say that you can report through the forums. In fact, I believe they recommend that you report in the forums. And they are actually pretty fast. It's just, you have to, like, actually fill in the information. And it also depends on how catastrophic the bug is. For those that don't know, Ungamax is, in squadrons, you have access to a special limit break button that casts Ungamax, right? Big whoop, big surprise. And what it does is, I believe it does like a small attack or something, and then it gives the party a massive damage boost. Which, of course, is way better than a normal limit break, because Ungamax only costs 1 LB gauge, like just 1. And was way better than an LB1. And when I say I think they're pretty fast on the forums, is that I think it's like over a year ago at this point. Not 100% sure, but I think it was. I had... So, some people I might not have been around, like, it's actually been so long. I used to have, like, massive PC issues, like, monthly, weekly sometimes. So, like, the PC was just acting weird. Yeah, exactly, Insano. That is precisely what we're talking about. But yeah, I had these, like, weekly issues, and games would crash, and I had to get my CPU replaced, like, 4 or 5 times. Like, so many times that I lost count. I think, yeah, Mizunashi has a thread somewhere in the community server that has, like, a timeline of all of those problems. Just written out to the best of my recollection. That meant that when I finally got this CPU that I have now, which was a completely different one, like a completely different type of CPU, I was, of course, still very much on edge, and any program acting even remotely weird made me immediately think, yeah, basically it kind of melted in a way, Tom. Sort of. It was burning itself alive. But yeah, then when I got this one, I was still, you know, very much on edge, and any issue whatsoever caused me to go, oh, is there a problem? And started investigating. And so, one day, I was, you know, just fiddling with stuff, and then, like, my game crashed. Hey, Alex. Hope you're doing well. Sounds like you're not. And I just opened it again, and it was fine. And then, like, the next day, the game crashed again. That time I was like, I noticed that there was one thing in common on both of the times where my game crashed. Sounds like NA is exploding? Oh no, not again. And I found out what the issue was to the degree that just before stream, I just clicked buttons, crashed my game, and then opened it again. It was like, all right, this is gonna be funny. So I start the stream. If you can find the stream, you like, it will be the first thing in the stream. I don't recall what it was about. I think it was one of the extreme mount, like one of the mount farm streams, something like that, maybe. And I opened the stream saying, okay, guys, here's a really funny thing, a funny bug that I just discovered. Might just be me, but just saying, don't do this if you don't want your game to crash. And then I explained what it was, and then everyone in my gardens just got the Pokeball, you know, game crashed or, you know, disconnected. I was like, oh, well, I guess it is a bug for everyone then. So what I did was, the bug was, as people found out with a slightly more testing, is if you opened any menu in this bottom right and tried to drag a button out of it, you know how you can drag a button out of basically anything in the game and just make it a hotbar shortcut. If you tried to do that, but then didn't actually place it anywhere, like you just clicked it off, the next time you tried to open anything from the menu, just open a menu and then clicked on something, your game would crash. Like that. And PCs would blame DirectX or something. But PlayStations would say that Final Fantasy XIV crashed. Because PlayStations crashed too. And within the hour or something, someone made a report about it and included my stream as evidence. And like the next day, I think, it had been like accepted as like they have seen it and they're working on it. Like they had noted that this is a problem that they need to fix. And I mean, I don't remember, like I didn't go and test when they fixed it. But I don't really feel like testing it right now, but I don't seem to remember it happening since. And that was someone went into the forums and reported it. And then, you know, you have, like, when you report a bug, whether it's the in-game option or forum, doesn't matter. You have to, you know, explain how you reproduce it, how consistent it is. When was that? I don't remember. Over a year ago, I think. I've also reported a different bug somewhat recently, and that I did with the in-game feature because it's not important enough for me to like make a whole thing about it. The bug that I found is If you have the quest Morbid Motivations in your possession, then the NPC, which is the same one, by the way, that gives a treasured mother, will not give you a treasured mother. She will simply not offer that quest for you. If you have Morbid Motivations, she will not talk with you about anything but Morbid Motivations. And it is consistent to the degree that I abandoned both quests because I was just about to pick up Treasured Mother. Picked up Morbid Motivations and noted that Treasured Mother disappeared again. Hey, Pop-Tart, hope you're doing well, and thank you so much for the 3 months of sub right at once. Thank you so much. Hey, Jer, hope you're doing well. Sounds like you're not. Sounds like you're dealing with the NA problem. But I would also say on this book that I just described, with the A Treasured Mother and Morbid Motivation, I noted this problem also like a year ago, I think. Maybe not a year ago. I think I ran into the problem the first time when we were doing the maybe the Ninja Relic. And I noted that like that was weird. And then just thought, well, maybe if it's a new bug and it'll be fixed. And then I've just ran into it a few times since. Like, I should probably report this. This problem that only I am having issues with on the whole world because no one cares. It doesn't matter. Such a minor thing. It also makes kind of sense because I mean, Morbid Motivation is before A Treasured Mother. It kind of makes sense, I guess. Someone made Heavensward intro with stock images. Also, apparently, a hype train just started. Wow. Alice says, why does NA get more server issues than EU? Option 1 is, I don't know. And it's just random. Option 2 is, because it's really recent that these problems are happening, that maybe there's a server that's just having a bad time. Option 3 is whenever there's been like DDoS things. Let's just say that if you had the choice as someone trying to annoy Squeenix to DDoS NA, which I believe is either the biggest or second biggest. Pretty sure it's the biggest region. Or EU, the second smallest, but smaller than the second biggest by a long shot. Why would you bother DDoSing EU? I believe the only time where EU has had problems is when they decided to DDoS JP because there might be some kind of overlap there in ISPs or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. But the key being that if they had the choice to mess with EU or NA, then they bother more people by ganking NA. Tethio says the ISP they contract with in NA seems quite bad. Also possible. And yet I do recall that like it's not something that is only recent. I'm just saying that in terms of recent issues, I believe the NA servers crashed yesterday or the day before, and there was an emergency maintenance or something, and now they're like having issues again. Jet says, indeed, I just noticed the ISP is same as in Japan, based on ownership of the IPs for their servers. I remember this came up, that it's something like they have some sort of, like, long-lasting, like, work with that ISP, so they, like, default to them or something like that. And in JP, it's good, but their service is not great in NA. Or something like that. It came up a lot when there was a lot of DDoSing, especially because there was a significant amount of DDoSing during the last Savage Raid race. To the degree that some would say that NA had like an uphill battle because they had to deal with like extra challenges as a result. And I mean, I was paying close attention to the race. I was a caster after all. Just like I was for Kefka. Which is very fun, by the way. They haven't realized they should DDoS OZE instead because NA players can flee to OZE to play, but OZ players can't. I mean, I don't think NA players can leave once their server is dead. Hey Sean, hope you're doing well. But we got, let's see here. I think we finished, almost finished 4 books? Almost. I'll do these lives off stream. The reason why I do it like that is that then I will use these lives to reroll the live mids so that I can get, like I can like queue up lives in advance so that I can more easily run a bunch without having to like pause to grab a live while we're on stream. And the easiest way to do that is like just check all the live mids to look ahead, grab those, do a live, check again, do a live, check again, do a live, check again. That's how I'm gonna do it. But I think we will wrap up the stream from there. So, if you would like to be part of the Discord community server, there's a link right there in the chat. There you'll find the weekly schedule where you can see what else is coming up in coming days. I usually updated Sunday or Monday. You also find the announcement room with links to videos and streams and I put them out. And if you grab the reminder roll in the role assignment room, you get a notification whenever I do that. So the next run around 15 minutes before stream starts. You can catch it right when we go live. And if you like to support the channel even more directly, you can like over on the YouTube side of things, you know, algorithms and all that. You can also follow, subscribe, become a member, super chat, cheer, all of that goodness. And if you don't like any of that, there's also the Ko-Fi link that I will post it right there in the chat. It all helps support me and the channel directly so I can focus on doing stuff like this with all of you without having to worry about whether the algorithm thinks it's amazing and whatnot. So thanks so much for the support. Oh, thank you so much for the 2 gifted subs, Pop-Tart. And enjoy your mount. I have a feeling that there was a little bit of a big oof where there was a test of, can I just give myself 3 months of sub to get the mount? I'm assuming that's what happened. I mean, that is cool knowledge. We're trying to figure out what counts as well. But either way, thanks so much for support, Pop-Tart. Thank you so much. Thank you so much anyway. I was not trying to put you on the spot. But thank you so much. Anyway. Sorry that it's right here at the end, but I do a stream and I have a planned time where I'm like ending it a little bit, and then we still go over time because I do enjoy it, right? But on that note, let me see if we can find someone to raid and keep the party going. I'm glad to hear that, Pop-Tart, and welcome to the game. But on that note, there is like a drop event, I believe, still going for this week. I think something like that. So if you check your Twitch drops, there should be a mount that you can redeem. That is, let me see if I can find it. This one, Alsweed. So you can have that. And you have to redeem it in the mock station and such. Right, let's see. Let's see. I think Ruzema is getting started on a on some more Solo Pilgrims Traverse. Let's do that. I believe your own sub also counts as long as it's not Prime, Mia Crow. And as long as it's not anonymous. Anyway, on that note, good night, good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where in the world, and I hope to see you all very soon. Bye-bye!